Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is in Washington, D.C., where he'll meet with President Trump on Tuesday. The Crown Prince is expected to tout the progress of women's rights he's enacted in the country since taking power. He discussed the decision to allow women to drive and to attend sports games when he spoke with our Nora O'Donnell for Sunday's 60 Minutes. But in 60 Minutes Overtime, our producer took note of how the expansion of women's rights doesn't always play out.
It's so interesting that the Crown Prince said it's the women's decision to cover or not to cover.
The decision is entirely left for women to decide what type of decent and respectful attire she chooses to wear.
Is there some friction there between what the Crown Prince said in his interview and what you saw on the street?
Absolutely, yeah.
Our team, we were out for dinner, and as we're, on the sidewalk, just chit-chatting, a car just pulls up kind of frantically, and we hear something from a megaphone?
A megaphone.
Yeah, we hear something from like a megaphone, and it's in Arabic. We don't know what they're saying, but then the window rolls down, and this guy looked like the Saudi religious police. He had the head covering and a very long beard.
I took out my iPhone and actually started filming them and walking toward them.
And then we locked eyes, and he told me to cover my hair.
In English?
In English.
And Amani al-Khatahtbeh joins me now from Chicago to discuss changes for Muslim women under the Saudi Crown Prince. She's the founder of MuslimGirl.com. Amani, does our producer's experience of being told to cover her hair say something about the Crown Prince not really being able to enact all the progressive policies he may advertise?
I don't think so necessarily, because unfortunately, men making comments about the way women dress it seems like a universal tendency for guys for some reason. It's something that I get as well, whether it's conservative men telling me why is my neck showing from my headscarf to, men on the streets here in the States telling me to take my scarf off. I don't think it necessarily represents the capabilities of what the government is headed towards. I do think that it's really important for us, if we're discussing Saudi politics, to really just keep it distinct from really attaching those policies that what we perceive to be as limitations to women. It's really important for us not to attribute them to the religion or the culture itself. I understand where the prince was coming from when he said that it's the woman's choice to wear the headscarf. Inherently in Islam, yes, it absolutely is the choice of the woman. But unfortunately, with many patriarchal governments, like the one that Saudi Arabia is currently trying to, just evolve from right now, we see that those things tend to become policies that the government interferes in where it shouldn't.
On the question of choice, women in Saudi Arabia now have the right to drive, or they will very soon, to also attend sporting events, but they are bound by so-called guardianship laws. What are they, and what kind of roadblock are they on the way to true equality?
Yes, for sure. Guardianship laws basically stipulate that even though women are gaining these rights, it comes with an asterisk, which is that they're only able to really put them into practice if they have that legal guardian or, like the male in their family or from their household accompany them. And again, this is something that the government absolutely has no business in, and it's something that I believe should be completely separate between government and, people's personal lives and how they practice their religion. But I'm hoping that what we're seeing right now is really just one step in this evolution with Saudi politics. Let's start out great with giving women rights, with this asterisk on top, but then let's get rid of that asterisk and let's actually reach that equality that we're all yearning for.
Do you anticipate the asterisk actually being removed and true equality coming to the land, or is there going to be a kind of Sharia ceiling preventing true equality from ever being present?
Honestly, I'm letting Saudi women take the lead on this one. And if they are any indication, I think that there's a lot to be hopeful about. We're seeing Saudi women really just lead the charge for these social changes that are taking place. They happened they started happening far before this new prince came into power. Saudi women have really been organizing and, implementing new movements and campaigns within their society to really push Saudi Arabia forward. And to me, I think that we have a lot to look forward to on that front.
What's the role of young people in pushing the Crown Prince toward these more progressive policies?
I think that young people are very transformative in this situation, because one thing that young people are fluent in, which is a universal language, is social media. And today, there's really nothing that can be hidden from the internet. And young people, there's really nothing that can be done to silence them from vocalizing themselves on the internet either. And so I think that having that audience that Saudi Arabia now is also answering to, I think is really important, that there's a lot of eyes far beyond just within the borders of Saudi Arabia that are really just hoping things move forward from here.
So the Crown Prince also mentioned an initiative related to equal pay for men and women, in addition to showing up the U.S., if that ever comes to pass. Would it be seen as a victory that pulls more women into the workplace there in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would be just as much of a victory over there as it would be here in the States. Equal pay for women is something that I think we're all eagerly fighting for globally. And if Saudi Arabia can be an example for that, then I think that would be revolutionary.
All right, Amani, al-Khatahtbeh, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.